Keep nipita. Okay, there we go. Okay. Oh me. Oh me, oh boy. Alright, listen, we're just gonna get right into it because I want to get my polls out of the way because, you know, hey, it's Walpurgisnacht. Let's get this show on the road. Well, you know, I suppose it might only be natural that my... Hey, never mind. Spoke too soon. Would you look at that? Alright, perfect. Oh yeah, there it is. Ah, there he is. There's my boy. It's good old Dante, Gregor. Alright, yeah, alright, now let's try and get Ish. Well, this might be nice. Ooh! Huh. Well, nuts. Another pull. Come on now. This is starting to get a little concerning. Well, I mean, I'll take it. Who knows? It could be another doubler. It might be a new one. Nope, never mind. It's just another. It's just another contempt and all Ryoshu. I'll take it. All right. Yes, give me that. Another pull. You guessed it. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Why? What do you want? What do you want? Oh, I know. I know it's hard watching in horror as I get all these pulls and we get nothing. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Could be anything. It could even be nothing. Oh man, I really hope that we don't scrape up to pit. You know what? Let's not put that kind of foul energy in the world. You feel me? What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, somebody's very excited to be up here. Come on. But my day's been alright. I was, we were futzing with a service, a little service call, but that was, trying to figure it out. We're thinking about pointing the finger maybe at the draft inducer, but maybe. Or it could be something to do with the pressure, I mean with the pressure switch. I mean, not the pressure switch, the gas valve. But we're also thinking, hold on, let's just double check here. How much more do I have? Okay. Just gonna keep up the pulls. Yep, that's nice. Oh, come on. Oh, such a dry spell. Ah. How many more do I need? Okay, so what's it? Yeah, let's just grab a quick paid one. A little bit of a paid load to see. There it goes. Oh, there it goes. All right, now we'll just extract like 5. We'll do single pulls until we get to the thingy because I would at least like it to be all nice and relatively even. Besides, we'll be getting like a bunch of them from the Buckgak, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's fine. This is my recompense for, you know, the getting really lucky with my Arknights pull. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, so how many more of these? Okay, 3 more. And who knows? Maybe we will. I mean, you know, technically it's supposed to... I wouldn't say it's the most efficient, but, you know. I mean, technically it is, because, you know, if you're like, oh, but if I got on the second one of a 10 pull, then, you know, I basically wasted like 8 pulls. At least that's how some people think about it. I don't really. Not that I don't think, it's just that's not how I see the matter. Alright, now give me another... Whoa. Oh, what a world. One more pull, and then we're just gonna use the power of ideality. All right, well, thanks for that. All right, we'll just grab this Hanafuda. Thank you. I'll just take my free-ish. Gotta stop and smell the gambling. Gambling. Often end up pushing up daisies. All right, let's just take a look here. Hey, now that makes a luncheon. I guess running away did nothing to unseal her. Fate, matching hand. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I still think that, like, the be assured, you know, this sword, this honor won't be tarnished. All right, let's take a look here. Oh, that's a lot of ish. All right, let's just up tie fish real quick. Oh no, it might be time. Yeah. I guess it's nice that they had a general reception in their back pocket. I guess it's fine. The presence of observers in a gambling den does not guarantee that games played there will be completely fair and just. It's not even a moral obligation. Sometimes the rule itself may state that one may freely cheat as long as they manage to avoid the eyes of us observers, or that even if we were to recognize certain sleights of hand, as long as no one else on the table calls it out, we're not necessarily obligated to intervene. The rules we were called today to observe were 8 kit. That's 8 points for me. Oh, damn it, that beats mine by 2 points. 100 flowers swirl. We were called to observe games of Huatu, an all-out war of flowers like its namesake, if you will. A battlefield wherein the blossoming chaos of sundry petals hides the poison-kissed weeds from plain sight. So while we overlook those who know their place and keep their underhanded tactics low-key, snap. The hell? If a poisonous flower blooms too large and elaborate, drawing the ire of other flowers, we cut it off by its roots. Observer, is there anything we can help you with? Behave yourselves, overplay your tricks, and we'll catch you. Remember? I'm sure I shared that rule with everyone before today's games began. Oh, damn it, I knew it! I knew that piece of shit's been cheating all night long! Hot damn, gold tier sure is on another level. Silver tier games didn't have these keen-eyed observers to catch them cheaters. These casinos run on a membership system. The said membership system is multi-tiered from silver to diamond, of course. Higher tiers provide additional benefits to the guests of J-Corp's gambling dens, but what matters more is that climbing the ladder grants access to seats in higher tier games. With higher tier memberships comes higher stakes, higher rollers, and higher levels of security against the ever-present cheaters and tricksters in gambling dens. So the gamblers always dream of advancing their placement in the membership tier system. Silver tier games rarely ever hire us observers. We don't come cheap, of course, but the silver tier game's smaller scale doesn't really warrant the scrutiny anyway. Gold is where people like us start showing up. We're hired to observe these professional level games and catch participants with particularly sticky hands like this one. Oh, come on, man. I know I've been on a roll tonight, but cheating? Really? You're breaking my heart here. You better have the ironclad evidence to hit the brakes. And you must be new here. Do you really think your silver tier attitude will fly here? You still think you're in some dingy den where you can get off scot-free from scrutiny by being the loudest person in the room? Listen, I can't just sit here and watch you use wish power to blatantly flip one game after another in your favor, okay? Really, wish power, you little... Seriously, man, are you talking about this tattoo on my arm? This ain't nothing special. It's just a tattoo of a centipede. What, too icky for you? That's a funny-looking centipede you've got there. Poor thing's only got 10 legs. Seems hardly enough to crawl about, given its size. I knew it! It had more legs earlier! What do you suggest? Oh boy, look at him go, spilling water all over his arm. Alrighty, take a good look at this. If it were a wish power tattoo sticker, scrubbing it like so would have erased it, yeah? But... I suppose that excuse has worked for you before in silver tier games. but anyone who's been in the game for long enough knows about procedures that actually tattoo wish powers to your skin. Serves you right. That's what you get for disrespecting the observer's presence. What are you babbling on about, cheater? Let's see, where did I sense the strongest ripples? Thanks to him that I managed to snag that wish power user too. Ah, bingo. You placed a chip inside that Huatu card, didn't you? That way you can tell what card it is even with its face down. I'm sorry, I don't... Listen up, people. We're in J-Corp, the origin of both wish power and the singularity capable of locking anything safely. I know it's gotten a bit cheaper to lock little things like cards nowadays, but... Storing chips inside cards, this is such an obvious cheat. Man, I see this exact trick at least twice a week. No way, but they said these locks are literally impossible to open. You've got some nerves thinking that a professional observer like myself wouldn't carry an F-Corp all-purpose unlocker fairy with me. Anyways, as per the rules stipulated, both of you are to give up your hands. Arms out, please. Fuck it. These people ever going to accept the consequences of their actions? Just admit they got caught cheating, lose their hands, big deal. Why make a mess and end up writhing around with their entrails splayed across the floor? Nice try. That bullet cost me a damn fortune. And I hope you weren't counting on beating us observers. Slice the runner from his right shoulder down to his left hip. As for the pipe gun toting fool, chop off his arms, then cut him horizontally by his abdomen. Oh, neat. That's bright shaped. Ironic. This is what they've been chasing all night, huh? Guess they found it. We apologize for the disturbance, everyone. The trouble's been taken care of, so please return to your games. And they're legging it. Oh, well, I suppose I shouldn't expect gold tier gamblers to have the guts to return to their games after that. Yeah, I'd really like to observe a diamond tier game one day. That was quite impressive. How long has this guy been sitting here? Excuse me, were you playing a game as well? Well, yes, everyone seemed to be using the J-Corp singularity and its variations with such abandon that I thought this was simply the kind of game they were playing. 100 flower swirl rule, was it? I decided to cool off and hide, given how it seemed to be getting a little too hot for my tastes. You hid. Well, I only stopped by to see how gold tier games are played nowadays. I see very little has changed. So you're the representative of Jiang's office, yes? You still have more techniques to learn to recognize, but you've got good intuition. What really stood out to me is how you managed to clean up the mess afterwards. Very intriguing. Hold on, what are you? A sudden thought flashed through my head, just as I was about to stop the silver gentleman from leaving. I should have been able to notice him despite the chaos, but I never picked up on his presence even when he stood right in front of me. There's no other explanation. It's gotta be a ghost! The veil. Isn't that perception-locking tech exorbitantly expensive? If he was sauntering about tech like it's some overcoat, then he's gotta be in the diamond tier. Or even blue diamond. This is once an opportunity and a warning. Opportunity in that I've unknowingly managed to give a positive impression to a high-tier player, possibly expanding our clientele. And a warning that if I couldn't pick up on those more techniques to learn to recognize, I'd never survive as an observer in the High Rollers games. Oh well, now that's something not even money can buy. There's no other way to put it. Looks like the biggest winner in today's games is me! Oh, that's good. It's not that bad. Okay, let's take a look here. Surigiri, Suzuki Misdirection, Takara-san. And, ooh, Pride right off the bat. Don't even need to up-tie 4 for that. Okay. Ooh, and we're discard gaming. Of course, how nice. What's on? Interesting. Interesting indeed. But what causes them to use Kozan? Amplitude decay. Huh. Have a suit and sun, Sakura. Aha! At the skill end at 5 bright. Okay. Okay. That looks fun. But let's go and get Gregor. Greg. Night All's Capitano. That one ace, but say Levy.
W사 시협회 소문대로 다양한 기술을 사용한다. 하지만 어떤 상대라도 꾀뜰을 빈틈은 있게 말이지.
They're gonna stab us. They're gonna stab us a lot.
살아남을 희망이 조금은 보일지도
What are you
모르겠어.
doing? Boss at the Thumb Summit. Huh. Got it. Thanks for the warning. I'll carry your name to the grave even if we end up getting purged. Resting his gaze on the skyscrapers outside the window, the child lit his cigar. Told him to watch his mouth since the thumb Sotocapo would be attending the summit. And yet he's finally done it. And it couldn't have been a more spectacular fail, too. Syndicates that swarm into a collapsed wing all have similar interests. They claim to at least one of the many alleyways of the back streets and keep a tight grip on it until they can sell it to a new L.o.R. that will one day rise as a wing. Thumb's probably set its sights on these parts if Familia Laterano and the Kurakumo clan are pulling back. The Sette Familiae ain't getting pushed out, though. Which can only mean that the leading member syndicates still get to keep their cuts. Subsidiaries like us are the ones breaking backs. Only for the thumb to swoop in and stake its ground. As for our hot-blooded boss, guess he just couldn't help asking why we gotta pull out empty-handed. The Night Owls, which the child is a member of, was one of the syndicates vying to claim their slice of the pie in the absence of the collapsed L.o.R. All with the thumb's permission, of course. However, they were forced to take their hands off the whole business simply at the whim of the Capo di Capi, the padrino of the thumb. Perhaps he thought it too unfair, but the leader of the Night Owls couldn't hold his temper in check and asked the one question he should never have dared to ask. What difference did he hope to make by second-guessing the padrino's intentions? A bit of careless talk, and we're suddenly painted red for the purge. Hard to believe the same unease I felt back when we were the enforcers of the purge is happening for real. Anyone outside? Yes, Capitano. Send up the remaining crew to my office. And make sure to let them know what I'm about to say. Don't leave out a single word. The child gathered up what was remaining of the crew at headquarters. But not the ones outside. He couldn't let the thumb find out that the Night Owls had been forewarned. No sense in dying for the ones who'd already doomed, he told himself. It's everyone here. You all must have heard about what happened at the Thumb Summit. We all knew the boss had a habit of jumping the gun, but none of us even had an inkling it'd turn out like this. Can't wrap my head around it. Think he had the audacity to question the Capo di Capi's intentions. Is it our turn to get purged now? After everything we did to purge the other syndicates, how could it possibly turn on us? Wasn't surprising at all that the rank and file started to blame their dead boss. Why couldn't you be our boss, Capitano? Now he's thinking about shoulda, coulda, wouldas. We can't deny it that that young streak of his that helped us expand this far. Can't deny it was that young streak of his that helped us expand this far. Me? I like being out in the field, getting a little action. The boss might have been impatient as hell, but damn if he didn't know how to keep us in business. For now, we gotta think of ways to stay alive. You can spit on the boss's grave later once we've saved our own necks. How about we cut through L.o.R.'s nest and get to the other side of the back streets before the heat catches on? Fortunately enough, it was raining in District 12. The nest of L.o.R, shrouded in a thick blanket of fog following its collapse, was a perfect place to move without drawing eyes. Any thoughts on where to go from there? How about V-Corp? I heard some kind of monster tore through their nest and left it looking like a butcher's floor. The whole place is a real mess. By now, though, there should be somewhere we can stay holed up if we can get there. Not a bad idea. But the question is, how do we even get there? L.Corp's nest and back streets have long turned into a hellhole where all kinds of pests come crawling in. Some subsidiaries like us, L.o.R, and even L.o.R Association are all stirring the place up like vultures on a carcass. One wrong move and we'd be dead before we even managed to get away. I say we lay low till sundown. We could use the night in the back streets as cover to get out. Wings may collapse, but don't forget that nests are still out of reach for sweepers. Getting out of L.Corp's nest is one thing. Getting away from waves of sweepers when we're dead on our feet is another. So there's really no way out? With everyone at their wits' end, a stifling silence fell upon the room. But the child remembered that they still had a way out. His instincts kept screaming that this might be jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. However, the fact was that the night owls simply had no other choice. The child's decision was already swaying toward the only exit available. We go to the library. You managed to get an invitation? No. It was already on my desk when I heard what happened to the boss. As if we were being summoned there. Though the child's knowledge was by no means necessary for the collection of the one true book, I still hoped that the library had a bookshelf to house the child's desperation for survival. Because that's why I had that invitation given to him. That's our Capitano's order. We follow. Drop the formalities. We're on the same boat. We don't have time to mind the thumbs rules between us at this point. Just speak up if you have any suggestions. We'll need all the ideas we can get if we want to increase the odds of our survival. Going to the library is way too risky. Word is even grade 1 fixer offices are backing out of any contracts that have to do with the library. Imagine those money hounds actually eating penalty fees just to stay away. Not just the fixer offices, even the fingers are calling it a graveyard. There were index proselytes who went missing there not long ago. The index, huh? Of course, the index. Now that I think about it, they went to the library too. If there's any truth to that rumor, we might be able to gather valuable intel on the index in the library. The Book of the Index. That would be bargain enough for the thumb to overlook our boss's insolence. Are you sure about this? There's not much time left before we're purged to the last man. Those of you who are thinking of backing out, now's the time. I want to put my name on the invitation. It's been an honor, Capitano. Hope we meet again someday, Capitano. I hope you'll survive no matter what. Some of the crew bowed deeply to the child and left the office. I trust in your judgment. Rumors always get blown up. Library, eh? I'm confident we can bring it down. Majority, on the other hand, stayed and waited for the child to sign the invitation. Let's set off. I thought the rumors were exaggerated. Guess there's a reason they call it the library. Never imagined it'd be this massive. Greetings, dear guests. May you find your book in this place! I figure nothing really phases you past a certain age. I think that a fixer in the uniform of Shi Association South Section would show off Kurakumo's sword technique. Is that L.Corp's combat style this time? Color me surprised. Calm and calculated footwork, the child slid past the gleaming arc of an assistant librarian's orange blade. A sudden thrust attack immediately followed, but the child sidestepped it and pressed into his opponent's outstretched arms. The floor of history! Not a single opening to strike. However, the child's pointed peg leg, which sparked as it raked across the floor, was blocked before it could pierce through the opponent's neck. Are you alright, Capitano? No! No, of course not! What are you, crazy? Oh, he at least had some fighting chance when we took down that index proselyte wielding L.o.R Association's flames. How many of us are still standing? Half of our men are dead. These librarians, the rumors have got nothing on these monsters. Shall we just call it quits and cut our losses? These bastards are no monsters. They're humans just like us. Humans who are afraid of getting killed. They must have a gap or two we can exploit. For an instant, a surge of emotion cracked through the child's mask of composure before he impaled the librarian, killing them. Perhaps it was the sight of their unflinching leader fighting that inspired them. As the rest of the crew charged into battle once more, the firm grip on the hilt of their stilettos a testament to their renewed morale. Those freaks! How'd they get so much power? Why did we have to take the fall? Predictably, though, whatever hope they managed to muster came to a rather grisly end. Every time the curtains closed, some of them would get squashed flat by a giant teddy bear, gnawed and torn apart by frenzied fairies, and roasted alive in giant pyres. In the end, the last man left standing was the child. Yeah, it's going smooth. It's too soon to be rejoicing, though. Too soon, huh? Yeah. It's too soon to give up. I didn't come all this way just to snuff it like a damn dog. The outcome wouldn't change no matter how hard the child fought against the odds. But that shouldn't suggest that the child's struggles were meaningless. Because the emotion fueled by his determination must have become ample sustenance for the library. Now let the child press on. May his resolve never waver even as the end draws near. Let's watch him together through the window. Go get him, Greg! You can do it! I have only the utmost faith in Night Owl, Dante, Greg. What else does he have? The Knight's All. Execution. Ooh. Look at you. Turn deep wound into fatal wound. Ooh, that's nice. Fascinating. Dire Straits. Dire Straits. Well, let's just take one of those then, shall we? Let's uptie you. Oh, right. We should probably uptie Mr. Messel. First, over to the thread exchange, and we'll just dump like 100 into that. Thank you. Oh, my tender bones. We'll just get you to uptie 4. See? Oh, I know. I know. It's hard. Oh. And at least my burn is mending up nicely. I think. At the very least, I don't think it's gonna get infected. Man, refrigerant burns are no yoke, as they say. Hey. What are you doing? Where are you going? Oh, yes, I know. And then we'll take, like, I don't know, like another, like 125 out of my Faust. Oh, I'm also dealing with a bunch of... Dealing with an infestation in my poor abode. But I think I've at least got things out of reach. I think. I hope. But that's neither here nor there. We also did I did get the Ankafellan event out of the way. But now we can also go and do the Murder on the Warp Express, Buckuk. Check and see who's got the, oh, yeah, that's nice. Event bonus units. Yeah, we still don't have the... Don't have the Heathcliff quite yet, but we do at least get the 40% gain. Okay, maximum is, yeah, okay. To the stages. To the hard mode, please. First class. Why? Act like I don't feed you, you horrible creature. Alright, how did this happen? Where are we? What's going on? Oh, it's me, Dante. First we boarded the warp train to get to our next destination, P-Corp. Got into our fancy first-class flash-freeze hibernation capsules, and we were supposed to arrive at P-Corp after a quick blink of an eye, but... First thing I saw when my vision returned was the perplexed look on Faust, who had entered hibernation at the same time as I did. Then I realized that we woke up mid-transit on the warp train. Ta-da! Which could only mean that we're now stranded in some lost, unknown dimension?
단테, 혼란스럽겠지만
What? What the hell happened? First things first. Let's rewind and return to the very start of this highly unfavorable situation we find ourselves in. A few days ago.
다음 행선지는 워프 열차입니다. 단테.
Yeah, that's where it all started. I was still perplexed by the incidents at T-Corp with my awful idea of clearing the air by asking Virgilius for our next destination, not knowing the storm that my innocent question would bring.
본인이 잘못 들은 것이겠지.
맞게 들었을 텐데, 돈키호테. 너희들은 지금부터 T사의 워프 열차 승강장으로 간다.
워프 열차의 승강장에 무언가 문제가 있는 것이로군. 그것을 해결하러 가는 것이 아마도 우리의 임무 아니겠는가?
워프 열차 승강장에 또 뒤틀림이라도 나타났나?
소일거리를 하는 데에 제법 거리낌이 없게 되었군. 하지만 그것도 아니다. P사로 이동하기 위해 워프 열차에 직접 탑승한다. 문자 그대로 받아들이면 될 일이지.
Natural that the sinners immediately fell into a state of collective dumbfounded shock. None of the sinners have any history of working at W Corp, but we're actually taking that train? Through what vague information we could gather from the identities, we all had some fragmentary knowledge about the terrible secrets of the warp train's operations. We were given meta-knowledge. I initially considered hiding this information from the rest of the sinners, but since sharing things with everybody and letting them get their 2 cents in usually ended up being pretty helpful, I've been sharing more of these as of late.
인격을 사용했을 때의 기억은 흐릿하다 못해 없는 수준이나.
관리자와 인격의 대화록을 보았을 때 워프 열차의 원리가 다소 비효율적이고 기이하다는 부분은 확실했다.
아, 10초 만에 도착하는 게 아니라 사실은 엄청 오래 운행한 뒤에 승객분들의 기억을 전부 없애는 거랬죠?
탑승객끼리 서로를 찍고 부순다고 했던 것 같은데요. 지루함을 이기지 못해서.
오랜만에 걸작품을 들여다볼 수 있겠군.
Even when the sinners wear the identities through my identity cards, the identities' memories or beliefs don't bleed into them once it's over and done with. I remember when Faust explained that, due to the risks associated with embracing such influences, there was a filtering process to intentionally block them from reaching the sinners. That's why the sinners could use the identities of some of our worst enemies without getting infected by their philosophies and whatnot. But it also meant that they couldn't retain any new information that each identity had to offer. That's why I keep a record of some things that sound particularly important and sometimes share it with the rest of the sinners. My voice doesn't really carry well past the window, so most of our communications are one-sided, but I had an abundance of W Corp identities, so it wasn't difficult to piece together the truth behind the trains. But, maybe ignorance really is bliss.
여러분의 이런 동요와 반발은 이미 예상하고 있었습니다. 파우스트군? 그대는 벌써 알고 있었던 겐가? 본인한테 나한테만 미리 살짝이라도 알려주지 그랬어.
파우스트는 모든 것을 알고 있으니까요. 당연히 여러분이 떠올린 문제를 해결할 방법도 준비해 두었습니다.
열차를 탄다는 사실이 변하질 않는데 방법이 있다고요?
Getting first class.
버스, 이 버스는요? 열차 안에 버스가 들어갈 리도 없잖아요.
타운도 반대. 메피 말고 다른 걸 타면 메피 밥은 누가 줘?
파우스트 씨.
워프 열차의 최후미는 화물 칸으로 편성되어 있습니다. 메피스토 팰레스는 해당 칸에 결속되어 함께 움직이게 되죠. 또한 LCB 소속 전원은 1등석을 통해 이동할 예정입니다.
The bus begins to swell with noise again, though in a slightly different air to the alarmed response from earlier.
1등석이라면 부저놈들의 지정석 같은 데 아니냐? 누구는 표 살 돈도 없어서 기차 화물칸에 끼어 타고 있는데 앞자리에서 거들먹거리면서 타던 놈들.
Yep.
왜 저를 노려보시는 건데요? 전 그런데 앉아본 적 없단 말이에요.
I've never been on a train.
자리 하나에 날개 직원 초봉 서너 달치는 된다던데 회사 재정 괜찮은 거 맞아?
Can our budget handle it? We don't have no budget. The budget is infinite.
캡슐, 프라이빗, 뭐 고급스러운 단어가 덕지덕지 붙은 자리가 개인별로 제공된다고 들었는데.
그런 식으로 홍보하곤 하죠. 엄밀하게는 급속 동면 캡슐입니다. 워프 열차가 실제 이동하는 시간 이상으로도 안정적인 작동이 되는 성능이니 탑승객은 눈을 감았다가 떴을 뿐인데 도착한 것과 다를 바 없는 체감일 것입니다.
그래도 회사의 배려에 참 감회가 새롭구려. 이동하는 길이 불편하지 않도록 그 비싼 자리를 선뜻 내어주다니.
그러게. 원래 같았으면 길잡이 씨랑 카론만 슬쩍 1등석을 태워보내주려나 했는데.
구태여 전원을 안치기보단 관리자님과 그 충실한 조력자만 있어도 충분했었겠지만.
다들 왜 이렇게 호들갑인지. 다음 임무를 위해 가는 것이니만큼 워프 열차가 가지는 특수성에 대해 고민하고 걱정해도 모자랄 판인데요.
역시 이스마일 씨 말씀대로 아무리 1등석이라 해도 워프 열차 자체가 영 꺼림칙한 곳이기도 하고 저도 역시 걱정이 돼서.
1등석 칸은 일반석 승객들이 함부로 올 수 없는 공간이라는 것도 알아두시는 게 좋을 거예요. 아니, 아예 열지 못하겠군요.
Ishmael, who'd been holding that first-class promotional pamphlet in her hands for a while, was chattering on with fire in her eyes.
그러니까 저희는 따로 전투를 치를 필요가 없이 편안하게 눈만 감으면 되는 거라고요. 옛날에 재정이 더 좋았을 무렵에는 기념품도 하나씩 줬었다고 했는데.
Oh, I love commemorative merch.
나니 따라붙긴 마련이지. 허나 칭송받는 영웅도 잠시 눈을 감고 쉬어갈 때가 필요한 법. 언제나 허름한 여간에서 몸을 닐 순 없는 일이지. 1등석.
Seems like everyone was at least somewhat interested in the fabled first-class seats of warp trains. I could sense that there was a growing consensus among the sinners that even a warp train trip might be acceptable if it meant that they could ride in the first-class seats.
타야 한다면 타겠다.
I don't want to.
꼭 1등석에 타야만 되나? 그곳은 나비 교환을 감상하는 재미가 없을 텐데.
Cordelius pretended to not hear Ryoshu's question.
좋아. 그럼 다 받아들였다는 것으로 알고 출발하도록 하지.
저 가장 중요한 질문이 남아있네.
뭐냐? 답지 않게 쭈뼛거리고.
Don Quixote carefully began, almost whispering in a low voice.
그 1등석이란 공간에선 신발을 벗고 타야 한다는 소문이 있는데 사실입니까?
어디서 또 괴상망측한 소문을.
소문이 아니오. 요전에 지나가는 자들의 대화를 엿들었는데 1등석 타면 맨발로 타야 하는 거 알지? 하고 묻자 당연하지. 그걸 누가 모르냐? 라고 하였단 말이오. 참말인가? 이스마일 군?
왜 저한테 물어봐요? 저도 타본 적은 없단 말이에요.
Oh, and it's not in the pamphlet.
그런 내용은 없었는데. 잠시만요.
그건 안 될 일일세. 본인은 로신한테와 한치도 떨어져서는 안 되는 사이여야 하네. 결코 우리 로신한테를 저 홈상도전 히스칼리 부근의 신발짝과 같이 내버려둘 수는 없어.
이게 진짜
불빛 시선께 부탁하네. 로신한테를 옆에 같이 태우면 안 되겠는가?
I expected Virgilius to answer with his usual exacerbated rebuff. Contrary to my expectations, however, he responded in a somewhat serious tone, if tainted by that familiar annoyance.
신발은 벗지 마라.
Don't take off your shoes. Do not take off your shoes. That's what I said. Alright. The Northern Vixen. Not to be confused with the Southern Vixen. Isn't that right? This place is huge. That was my first impression of the warp train station. Don Quixote shouted vibrantly, immediately recovered from her previous apprehension of the sheer possibility that she might be separated from Rocinante. Each nest has one of these massive structures in them.
나라고 알겠냐? 어이, 아는 거 있어?
Heathcliff asked, gesturing toward Messelt with his chin.
모든 워프 열차
Every warp train.
그 둥지의 특징
Every.
조형과 건축으로 도시 내에서도 유명하다. 승강장의 모습 그 자체로도 도시 명물 중 하나라고 칭송하는 이도 적지 않지.
I have no idea when it happened, but Heathcliff started treating Messelt like a walking encyclopedia from time to time.
저자는 서부에서 온 해결사가 맞는가?
아니다. 저자의 복장은 가죽 재질과 금속 재방어구가 아니라 원단으로 만들어졌군. 저런 직물 스타일은 남북을 따지지 않지만 서부에서는 보기 드문 동부의 복식이기에.
조금만 천천히 불러주시오. 메모를 해야 하니. 그럼 북부는 추운 날씨 탓에 펑퍼짐한 패션을 하고 있다고 잡지에서 보긴 했네만.
그것은 바로 코앞에 있는 자를 관찰해 보면 알 수 있다.
Uh, 3 seconds of screaming duet, one of utter fascination, the other of unmitigated frustration. What?
우리도 마찬가지였거든.
주막 가상 음악대를 넓혀놨다고. 정신 나갈 뻔했네. 워프 열차 처음 타보는 촌놈들처럼 왜 그러고 길을 단체로 막고 있는 거야?
I mean, you're correct.
길거도 언제 왔는데 목표를 놓쳐서 짜증나 있는 상태인데.
좋진 않나? 처음 타보는 거?
심지어 워프 열차 왕복권은 내 탑이었다고.
아이 저 조심해. 그렇게 무기를 든 채로 팔 4개를 붕붕 흔들면.
혹시 그대의 옷차림에 대해 조금 더 자세히 관찰해봐도 괜찮겠는가? 오, 그래, 그 포즈로! 이왕이면 5분 정도만 가만히.
미쳤냐?
The Vixer with a particularly impressive set of prosthetic arms spent a few minutes venting several of his numerous grievances at us before storming off to a different platform.
역시 도시는 넓고 특이한 자들은 많군.
저 사람도 똑같이 생각했을걸요.
전신이 의체인 사람은 역시 도시엔 흔한 걸까요?
That's when Virgilia slowly walked up to our group.
도착해서 만나도록 하지.
붉은 시선께서는 함께 하시지 않은 것이요?
W사의 정책상 색을 부여받은 자는 별도로 마련된 열차를 사용해야 한다더군.
1등석에도 1등석이 있는 거야?
어딜 가나 특색은 날개 차원에서 특별 대우를 해주나 보네요.
카로는 돌아가고 싶어. 메피, 외로울 거야.
서로 맛이 다른 사탕을 3번이나 사주면서도 말하지 않았나. 화물칸에는 사람을 실을 수 없다, 카론. 그럼 파우스트 씨.
네.
Cornelius, after exchanging a knowing look and a nod with Faust, escorted the particularly peeved Charon away.
단테, 저희는 이쪽으로.
Followed Faust's guidance to the entrance of our train car.
와, 색도 좀 돌아오는 걸?
Hooray!
그리고 이게 말로만 듣던 웰컴 푸드 앤 드링크. 아, 그래, 한두 푼도 아닌데 이런 것쯤은 있어줘야지.
The general response to this room was a surprise at the rows upon rows of expensive-looking sizable capsules. Flash freeze hibernation, huh? I guess it literally freezes our bodies in a flash. Faust, are these flash freeze hibernation devices safe? No.
안전이라는 말씀은
These things are supposed to freeze us solid, right? Could we really come back from something like that?
일시적인 사망 상태에 이르는 것은 맞지만 세포가 손상될 새도 없이 동결하는 것이니까요. 일반적으로는 문제 없습니다. 동결 시에 발생하는 밀도의 증가나 수분 결정이 날카로워져 세포를 훼손하는 문제도 이 모델은 전부 해결한 것으로 파우스트는 알고 있답니다.
Oh, good. I missed about half of what you said, but your point is that it's safe, right?
적어도 파우스트가 알고 있는 선에서는 그렇습니다. 혹여 문제가 있더라도 결국 도착 시에는 원점으로 돌아오니 문제가 없는 것과 다르지 않겠죠.
야, 안전하다는 걸 저렇게 길게 말하는 것도 재주다, 재주.
네, 파우스트는 모든 방면에서 재주가 있으니까요.
Okay, but that still leaves a lot to be worried about. Just as I was wondering, however, I realized that there was something odd about the way she phrased that answer. As far as Faust is aware, are you saying that it could be wrong?
파우스트는 대체로 틀리지 않습니다. 하지만 신도 아니죠. 파우스트가 아직 구하지 못한 정보도 세상에는 존재합니다. 그렇기 때문에 사실은 말할 수 있어도 진실과는 어긋날 수 있는 것이죠.
Okay.
그래도 1등석이 좋긴 좋네. 피사 정도면 북부 끝자락에 있는 지역인데 눈을 감았다가 뜨면 도착이라니.
준비되었는가, 로시나테오? 이제부터 길고 긴 여정이 시작되는 걸세. 그러고 보니까 돈키호테, 그 신발 빨긴 하는 거야?
Where'd that one come, Roger? Come from?
아니, 생각해보니까 우리 그 고래 뱃속에서 한참 갇혀 있었을 때 기억나? 그 고래가 터지면서 온갖 찌꺼기들이 다 묻었었잖아. 옷이랑 신발 할 거 없이.
그랬죠.
그래서 우리 그 살점이랑 피 같은 옷들 세탁하느라 고생 좀 했었고.
별로 유쾌한 기억은 아니지만 그랬었죠.
그때 돈키호테 혼자 저 운동화를 끝까지 안 벗고 버티고 있었다니까.
듣고 보니 좀 꼬질해 보이긴 하네요.
자네들, 자신의 애마를 품 안에서 함부로 떼어놓는 기사를 본 적이 있는가?
기사 자체를 본 적이 없는데.
그렇다면 이제라도 보고 듣고 기억해 두시게.
저자들은 단 한순간도 조용히 있는 법이 없걸.
우와. 그런데
Wowzers.
와보신 적이 있나 봐요?
뭐 옛날에는 이런 비슷한 VIP 좌석을 제공받고는 했지. 눈 안 떨 필요는 없다.
Otis, who was sitting there shaking her legs, suddenly asked Faust a question.
어이, 1등석에는 한 번도 사고가 난 적 없었던 거.
About that.
여러분의 불안감 조성을 방지하기 위해 워프 열차에서 일어났던 사고에 대한 기록들은 열거하지 않겠습니다.
그게 무슨...
Beep,
곧 출발하려나 본데요.
beep, beep.
P사행 PW612 워프 열차 곧 탑승 수속을 마감합니다.
The sinners who were either leisurely enjoying their complimentary snacks or taking a look around the first-class car suddenly became a lot busier.
그럼 너무 늦기 전에 캡슐에 들어가도록 하죠.
Oh no, why isn't this? The other sinners made it into their capsules, no problem, but felt like I was the only one who was fumbling.
긴장하셨나요, 단테?
I think so?
워프 10분 전.
제가 돕도록 하죠. 우선 내부에 기댄다는 느낌으로 서신 뒤
Faust expertly guided me to the capsule as though she'd done something like this before, then pressed the button inside the capsule that closed the hatch.
너무 걱정하지 마세요.
Ah, there's Donkey. Thought I heard a brief sigh with the hatch shut tightly before I could ask her anything.
우리 열차는 이제 워프하겠습니다. 좌석 벨트가 단단히 메어졌는지 다시 한번 확인 부탁드립니다.
Enjoy your free being frozen. Last thing I saw before my capsule began to fill with gas was Faust climbing into her own capsule opposite of mine. Little did I know back then what she really meant by "we will meet again in but a moment." Huh? One thing I knew for sure was
상정 외의 상황입니다.
that something had seriously gone wrong. Hey, what do you want? What are you doing? Can I help you? We're here already? Wow, I guess that wasn't an exaggeration at all. It all really happened in the blink of an eye. As always, Faust was giving me her usual look, which was a complete lack of any emotive expression. Which I suppose is why I didn't immediately register that something had gone awry.
아니요. 도착하지 않았습니다.
Huh? But once I finally came to and had some time to digest that odd reply, I looked at her face once again and realized that her expression was more antsy than usual by a microscopically minuscule degree. So this train is still running? Then where are we?
어디인지 알 수 없는 좌표의 차원 어딘가를 표류하고 있을 것이라고 판단되네요.
I took a reflexive deep breath from the sheer horror of the numerous implications stuffed into that dryly delivered sentence. When that passed, the first thing that struck my mind was that we were about to suffer the very thing that we were so worried about. I see. But I soon found myself calming down. Yeah, this had to be a part of Faust's plan. She probably saw this coming from a mile away. I'm sure she's about to proudly tell me every little detail of her plan that will help us out of this situation. But this all just a part of the plan, right? Faust? That was an unusually long silence from Faust.
절반은 맞고 절반은 틀립니다.
With that, Faust left me to flounder in the chaotic stream of vaguely terrifying information as she began stopping by each capsule to wake the sinners.
벌써 도착한 거야? 야, 진짜 눈 감았다가 뜨면.
아닙니다.
뭐야? 진짜 도착한 거야? 정말 눈 감았다 뜨니까.
아닙니다.
도착한 거예요? 생각보다 겁먹을 필요가
아닙니다. 아닙니다.
아직 아무 말도 안 했네만.
A brief cheer, a little hurrah about regaining our colors, followed by a flat tone explanation of our current predicament, which was then followed by a long, loaded silence. Which was a sequence of events I had the pleasure of watching play out about 10 consecutive occasions. Sorry. Which I had the pleasure of watching play out on about 10 consecutive occasions.
혼란스럽겠지만 우선 지금의 상황을 다시 한번 설명해야만 할 것 같습니다.
And that brings us to the present.
그러니까 지금 이 열차는 아직도 운행 중이고
우리는 어딘지도 모를 차원을 떠돌고 있다는 거냐?
그건 뭔가 멋있게 들리는 건.
제일 중요한 건 이 모든 상황이 벌어질 걸 파우스트, 당신은 처음부터 알고 있었다는 거고.
그렇습니다.
뭐 하자는 거야, 당신?
Sinners each begin to voice their anger. Of course, this wasn't the first time Faust and Virgilius intentionally and knowingly omitted certain details about what's to come.
이게 말이 된다고 생각해? 여긴 계획이 틀어졌다고 문 열고 도망갈 수 있는 공간도 아니잖아.
문을 연다 하여도 수초 내로 몸이 산산조각 날 것이다.
그래도 파우, 앞으로 어떻게 할지 정도는 다 계획해 둔 거지? 그렇지? 그렇지?
Faust, whom I had ever rarely seen at a loss for words, was unusually slow to respond.
뭐야? 저 왜 저렇게 얼빠진 모습인데?
She gives me a sideways glance. There must be something she can't discuss in front of the sinners. Guys, let's pause for a bit. Time out. Everyone go stand over there. She said that something unexpected's happened. The other sinner's anger was completely understandable. It also makes sense that this continued lack of communication was harming our trust in Faust. Alright, we're gonna go over the situation from the start, okay? but just letting things play out might really turn everyone against Faust. And for good. Besides, I doubt Faust woke us up in the middle of the trip just to spite us. First things first, I gotta get the sinners to calm down, then I'll ask Faust to tell us what happened. If there's a problem, we'll figure it out and deal with it as we move along. Okay, tell us what's going on, Faust. All of it, and in a way that we can all understand. Let's hear her out first. Is that okay with you guys?
당신이 그렇게 정하셨다면요. 따라가도록 할게요.
그래. 화만 내서 해결된 일이 별로 없긴 했지.
감사합니다. 그럼.
After some time, a few moments later, the gist of Faust's explanation was as follows. The cause of this issue, as always, involved a certain contract and a unilateral decision from the higher-ups of Limbus Company. W Corp, having caught wind of Limbus Company's recent distortion contract management promotions, decided to contract us to deal with a mysterious, repeated series of incidents suspected to have been caused by a distortion. After multiple failed attempts to resolve it on their own, of course.
뒤틀림 현상 자체는 문제가 없었을 겁니다. 저희가 가진 정보와 일치한다면 워프 열차가 도착하는 대로 그 뒤틀림은 W사의 처치를 받아 승객으로 돌아갔을 테니까요. 하지만
And this is a big but. The real issue was that the passengers were disappearing.
사라진다니? 이 열차에서는 그러고 싶어도 그럴 수 없지 않은가?
그 부분을 포함하여 저희가 이유와 결과를 알아내야 하겠죠.
Did W Corp share anything to get us started?
그 점이 이번 오해를 만든 가장 중요한 부분인 것 같군요.
We got nothing. He explained that W Corp refused to share anything about the trains because they were concerned about disclosing the secrets of their singularity. That's probably why they sought out an upstart business like Limbus Company to deal with this. Yeah, I think about it. We wouldn't even know where to start if we didn't have access to the information that the identity cards had to offer. Faust produced what appeared to be a key card with the W Corp logo on it before continuing with her explanations.
대신 이 동면 캡슐을 언제든지 열어둘 수 있는 마스터 카드 키를 받았으니 의뢰를 해결하면 저희는 메피스토 팰리스에서 이야기했던 대로 동면 캡슐로 돌아가 안전하게 도착할 수 있겠죠.
날개라는 건 왜?
How did she mention Mephistopheles in the, you know, whatever?
중요한 단서는 전부 감추고 정답을 찾아오라고 하는 건 좀 불친절한 것 같네요.
Unkind.
회사에서는 멋진 배지도 주고 대표님이 조수로 따라와서 이것저것 설명해 주셨는데 말이에요.
파우스트 씨도 마음 고생이 많으셨을 것 같아요.
Some sinners grew more receptive after hearing her explanations, albeit with a sigh.
그래도 뭐가 있다는 티 정도는 내줄 수 있었을 텐데.
맞아요. 이해가 아주 안 되는 건 아니지만 파우스트 씨의 행동이 하나하나 감시당하고 있는 건 아니잖아요.
About that. But not everyone was willing to let this go without saying their piece.
다음엔 참고하도록 하죠.
Oh my goodness. And that's just about all I can do for her. It's an undeniable fact that her actions have disappointed the sinners. Oh, but she looks so sad. This is Faust we're talking about, though. I'm sure she has backup plans to get us out of this situation.
그래서 이제 우리가 어떤 일을 하면 되는 거지?
그래, 뭐 일단 일은 벌어졌으니까 여기서 평생 썩어야 하는 상황은 피한 것 같고.
그 부분을 관리자님과 잠시 상의해 보도록 하겠습니다.
I need to go talk to Dante. Discuss. But discussing the what are we discussing, Faust?
목소리는 낮추는 게 좋을 것 같군요, 단테.
What? Why are we whispering? Her secretive attitude only exacerbated my already battered sense of safety.
제젤 샤프트. 아니, 파우스트가 연결되지 않습니다.
I'm sorry, what?
저는 파우스트의 정보를 열람할 수가 없는 상태입니다.
Eh? And just like that, the ominous feeling I had turned out to be right. It was correct all along. Yeah. Inaccessible. All right, now the real question is, who do I want to take? So do a quick edit. Let's get the dimension shredder on there, which means it will have just enough. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, why not? We'll just do Blood Fiends. It'll be fun. Blood Fiends and the N-Corp duo. What do you mean you can't? Yeah. Yeah.
그대로입니다. 평상시에 얻을 수 있던 파우스트의 의견과 정보를 아무것도 얻을 수 없다는 뜻이죠.
Oh, what if everything about this situation is something you don't have access to yet, like you said last time?
그럴 가능성을 배제할 수는 없지만 그것에 대한 것도 확실하지 않습니다.
Faust's stances have always been perfectly accurate and methodical when sharing information. I don't think she's ever said a sentence that was this full of speculation and doubt. Then, Faust, right now you're...
네, 지금은 제가 갖고 있는 지식만을 활용하고 있습니다. 원인은 알 수 없습니다. 차원간 이동에 의한 문제 대비는 충분했을 테지만 아마 파우스트는 이런 예측 불가능한 차원과의 연결까지는 상정하지 않았던 것이겠죠. 혹은 상정했다 한들 아직 교차 관측을 하지 못했을지도. 그것도 아니라면 아닙니다. 탑승 직전까지만 해도 파우스트의 연결이 끊기게 된다는 정보는 없었습니다. 솔직하게 말해 부분적인 당혹감을 느끼고 있는 상태입니다.
Alright. I get it for now. And that changes everything. I recalled the last thing I saw before the hatch on the capsule closed when Faust told me not to worry too much. Okay. This is just a minor setback, nothing we can't beat, right? We got this. I began to mutter like I was trying to convince myself. As a manager, my job is to calm everyone down and set their sights on the future, just as Faust did for me immediately before the hatch closed. If you're right about why we're disconnected, then that problem will solve itself once we're off the train. And if we do ever run out of options, I'll just turn the clock and see what happens. Don't stress yourself too much. We still have a lot to work with. Your knowledge, my, clock, the sinners, and I could feel my confidence taking a hit with every word that came out of my metaphorical mouth. But that seemed to be enough for Faust. She nodded.
네, 알겠습니다. 그리고 수감자들에게는 운행 중인 워프 열차에 있다는 것만으로도 충분히 혼란스러워하는 것 같으니 구테여 파우스트의 현재 상태에 대해서는 공유하지 않는 편이 좋을 듯합니다.
뭐야? 그럼 이 열차문을 부숴도 다 뒤진다는 거야?
Yes.
그러니까 히스클리프스 힘으로는 부술 수도 없다니까요.
여기서 10억 년 동안
Yeah, that might be best.
그래서 이제 어떻게 하면 되는 거지? 객실을 샅샅이 수색하거나 뭐 그런 거야?
큰 틀에서는 맞다고 할 수 있겠네요.
We'll just head on down, and then we'll head on back. Faust cleared the air with a cough before continuing.
우선 이 열차는 운행을 시작한 후 A사 표준 시간을 기준으로 3일 정도 지난 상태입니다. 저는 림버스 컴퍼니와 W사의 계약 내용대로 캡슐에 비치된 마스터 카드 키를 획득하고 3일 뒤에 자동으로 열리게끔 설정했죠.
3일.
Yeah.
감았다가 떴을 뿐인 것 같았는데 동면이란 건 이런 느낌인가 봐요.
이미 알려진 대로 일반석 칸에서 1등석 칸으로 들어올 수 있는 방법은 없기 때문에 이곳은 아무런 변화가 없지만 제 추측과 W사의 부실한 설명을 합쳐보면 일반석은 이미 문제의 상황이 진행 중일 것이라고 생각됩니다.
It's a bunch of giant man eating vampires.
주고받고 싸우다가 팔다리 뜯고 그러는 걸 말하는 거냐?
아니요, 아니겠죠. 사흘 만에 그렇게 되는 것도 쉬운 일이 아닐 뿐더러 그런 상황에 우리를 투입시키지는 않았을 테니까요.
정확합니다. 제가 생각하기에는 아마
잠시만 기다리게.
Just as Faust was about to continue, Don Quixote raised her index finger to her lips and signaled her to be quiet.
뭔가 들리지 않는가? 흥난 아니 두드리는 소리인가? 분명 이문 너머에.
Don Quixote kept listening with her ear to the door, an odd expression of half curiosity and half horror appeared on her face.
아무래도 저기에 파우스트군?
After that very distressful noise, everyone simultaneously turned their heads to look at Faust. Closed her eyes briefly in thought.
잠시 비켜나시죠, 돈키호테. 직접 보고 대응하는 편이 나을 것 같습니다.
That she produced the master key card from her pocket and approached the panel installed next to the door.
뭐야 잠깐 이 문 열려는 거야?
Oh yeah.
히스클리프 씨의 평소 조언을 한번 따라보려고 합니다. 고민하기보다 직접 몸으로 부딪히는 편이 때로는 더 나을 수도 있다는 거요.
조언 뭐 틀린 말은 아니지만 갑자기 왜 이래?
어차피 저도 직접 보지 않으면 아무것도 추론해낼 수 없을 테니까요.
Bleep. Oh no, oh sorry, I wasn't paying attention. After a brief mechanical beep, hideous creature suddenly crashed through the open door and charged wildly in our direction. Oh my god!
뛰어난 병사라도 적재적소에 쓰지 않으면
Alright, well. Oh, look at him! Look at how handsome he is! He doesn't have the, you know, the pockmarks. We got whispers, right? Yes, yes! Alright, send in the lads. Doesn't change anything. Send them in. We'll see how they handle some real vampires. Blood feeds. Oh, sorry. Oh, she's so cool. One unforgivable sin, please. Thank you. Great work, Mr. Prince.
보면 아는 것을 상기시키는 년 착포자다. 옛 예상한 것보다 움직임이 더 좋구나. 실수일지 의도일지 저희를 헤아릴 수 없다면
Alright,
그
let's see
연대를
here.
고민하는 것이 상책이지.
No whispers, only. Oh, I guess I could. I mean, I guess yeah, you could kind of tease it, but that's neither here nor there.
깊은 수면에 빠지시는가?
판도는 유리하나 교만하면 뒤집어지.
Oh, wow, would you guess? Would you believe it? Do you really believe it? Yes.
그걸 공감해야 하나? 이번에 네 피분수.
Hooray!
파우스트군, 이들은 승객의 모습을 하고 있었지만 지금 사리 분별을 할 수 없는 이성이 존재하지 않는 자들 같았네.
마치 그 고래에 의해 백화된 것처럼요.
Don Quixote, who hesitated until the last second to raise her weapon against them. Oh, look. Hung her head mournfully. Normally, Faust would have had told her more information about those monsters before the fight began, and she would not have been burdened by the sheer thought of bringing harm to the innocent. I got nothing. Faust began searching the area, closely observing various bodies in the general area for information.
오늘따라 주위를 많이 돌아보는구려, 파우스트 양.
그러게요. 평소 같았으면 저희가 관찰을 하고 있을 때 결론을 내주시지 않았나요?
Sinners were starting to realize that there was something off about Faust's behavior. They might even soon realize that there's something wrong with Faust.
돈키호테, 이들은 죽지 않았습니다. 자세히 보시죠. 파편과 파편 사이에 무언가 이어져 있지 않나요? 이 공간은 시간이 멈춰 있는 것으로 보입니다. 그러니 죽음에 달하는 끊어짐이 발생하지 않고 이어져 있는 것이죠.
My relief, Faust managed to correctly figure out what's going on like her usual self, even if it took her slightly longer than it usually does. Hey, what'd I say? We got this!
뭐라고 했어?
Nothing. But I'd forgotten that not all sinners were content with nodding along to whatever information Faust told us.
시간이 멈춰 있더라.
Isang grew pensive, seeing Faust's lips parted for a moment before closing shut. I'm starting to get a good read of her expressions. There was an unmistakable look of regret, however short-lived.
차원 바깥에서 바라볼 때는 멈추었다고 느낄 정도로 시간이 아득히 느려져 있다. 그렇게 볼 수 있지 않겠는가?
네, 이상 씨의 의견이 합리적이겠네요.
파우스트 씨가 틀린 적도 있으셨나요?
Oh, Isang sure is the expert when it comes to time-related phenomena. Can you summarize it in an easier language now that we're approaching the subject?
그래도 되겠는가?
Boy, here he goes. Isang began to elaborate with gentle enthusiasm. That was close.
간단히 풀어 말하면 이 열차에는 죽음이 존재하지 않소.
너무 생략한 것 같은데.
아, 말을 얹자면
정말이군. 이자 심장이 뛰고 있네.
Don Quixote lowered her head and listened closely to what appeared to be a dismembered torso and shouts with relief.
이들은 퍼즐 조각이 여러 개로 나뉜 것처럼 단지 활동할 수 없는 상태로 나뒹굴고 있을 뿐이요. 몸이 분리된다는 과정은 진행되었지만 이 열차의 존재는 보존되고 한없이 유예되므로 그저 한없이 가늘어져도 끊어지지는 않는 생명만을 붙든 채 이리 널브러질 뿐이지.
어려운 말은 잘 모르겠지만 아무튼 죽지는 않은 것이군.
이들의 파편이 연결되어 있다는 것은 아무리 뒤섞여 있어도 결국 파편끼리의 실타래를 따라 모아보면 승객 하나하나를 특정할 수 있다는 뜻이겠죠. 자연스럽게 W4의 정리요원이라는 직책이 생긴 이유를 추론할 수 있겠습니다.
누군가는 이 퍼즐들을 조립해서 구별해둘 필요가 있을 테니.
Really baffling to me that a job like that even exists.
날개에 사는 일치고 심하지 않은 게 어디 있겠어?
Still, I guess that means that as long as the train arrives at the station, the passengers will all be put back together like nothing happened. From what I learned through the W-Core identities, their main job was to gather chunks of flesh together to bring them back to their original shapes before they boarded the trains. A lot more visceral when I have to look at it in person.
그거 듣던 중 다행이군.
It soon clicked in me what Faust was, though with some awkward effort, trying to do as I watched Don Quixote sigh with relief. Maybe Faust was trying to cheer Don Quixote up in her own way. Which she was a while ago, would not find it even necessary to do something like that. Ah, what's up? Oh, time to whisper, right?
네, 정보를 수집 중입니다.
Well, if there's anything I can tell you. Faust cast a dark gaze toward the chunks of flesh. Her gaze remained fixed upon them as she whispered.
틀림인지 혹은 환상체인지 아시겠나요?
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about that. They weren't humans, that was for sure. From them I felt the same sensation I felt from monsters. Something inexplicable, an unclear sensation, or an aura. I felt this somewhere before, I'm sure of it, but I couldn't quite pinpoint the source of this sensation. One thing I do know for sure is that this sensation was not the same feeling I got from abnormalities, distortions, or even the peccatula. If I had to lean one way or the other, I'd say they're closer to distortions. I'm sorry, I don't think they're either of those.
확신할 수 없는 건가요?
Again, I'm not sure how I can explain this, but they're very, very similar to distortions, but also different. If you had to ask, I'm gonna guess Faust doesn't know.
그러면 알고 있을 수도 있겠지만 적어도 지금의 저는 알 수 없군요.
I feel like I should apologize for that.
그러실 필요는 없습니다, 단테. 불확실한 정보지만 그 덕에 한 가지 추론에 도달할 수 있었기 때문에. 그리고 직접 정보를 수집하며 논리적 결론을 만들어내는 것도 예상보다.
Paused, holding a bloody, slimy chunk of flesh in her hands.
쟤 지금 살점 조각 들고 혼자 웃은 거야?
드디어 각성한 것인가?
At long last.
오랜 목마름도 어버이를 향한 죄책감도 피를 마시는 순간에는 생각나지 않을 거다. 그러니
다를 것 없이 마음껏 마셔.
Drink up, Buttercup, the multi-crack office.
우리가 이룰 수 있는 유일한 꿈이니까.
Not to be confused with the single crack office. After a round of intelligence gathering from Faust, we open the door to the next cabin, only to be greeted by a loud commotion.
저희 외에도 생존자들이 있는 모양이네요.
There could be anybody.
위험에 빠진 승객들인가 보군. 이 몸이 구해주게.
와, 함부로 들어오지 마. 너희 뭔데?
A four-armed woman suddenly jumped in our path.
갑작스럽게 튀어나오는군요.
Faust stumbled a little, inadvertently slapped by the figure's swinging arms as she pushed us away.
내 쪽에서도 당신들이 갑자기 튀어나온 거거든.
좀 위협적이니까 그 커다란 칼은 치워주면 안 되나?
You're scared me.
위협은 무슨 위협? 저기 저 사람들 지키려고 들고 있는 건데. 뭐야? 요새도 그런 구식 생체형을 달고 다니나? 나 참.
아씨, 구식의 때론 제일 빛을 발할 수 있다는 걸 보여주랴?
그대 곡식을 보아하니 북부의 사람인 게로군.
아이, 이 와중에 무슨 오타령이야? 아무튼 이쪽이나 그쪽이나 같이 사고에 휘말린 상태 같아 보이는데 비켜주지.
He seemed to be sizing us up for a moment.
너희를 뭘 믿고 이 안으로 보내줘? 안 물렸다는 증거 있어? 내가 이곳을 어떻게 지키고 있었는데.
물렸다니 뭔 소리야?
왜 아무것도 모른다는 표정이지? 일반실에 있었으면 분명. 잠깐.
Wait a minute.
너희 1등석에서 왔어? 네. 캡슐에서 방금 깨어난 상태였어요. 보기에는 1등석이라. 진작 말하지. 내 이름은 사샤. 멀티그룹 사무소 대표야.
With that, she lowered her weapons and allowed us to pass.
사샤, 당신도 이 객실에 계속 계셨던 건가요?
응? 뭐 그렇지. 우리 해결사 사무소에 T사 쪽 의뢰가 들어와서 잠깐 넘어왔는데 열차가 이딴 식으로 고장난 데다. 아니, 고장난 게 맞나? 배고파지지도 않고 졸리다는 느낌도 잘 안 드는 것 같고. 이거 좀 수상하긴 해.
의체인데도 그런 게 느껴지셨나요?
아, 먹고 자는 게 취미라. 그쪽은 특별히 신경 쓴 부품이거든. 잘 느껴지지?
Yes.
그것보다 그 밖에도 일어난 일이 있지 않나요?
아, 그래. 완전히 난리도 아니었다고.
정신 사납군. 출삭되지 않고 말할 수는 없나?
팔이라도 덜 휘적거리면 좋겠는데. 그건 좀... 싸우다가 의원이 전부 부서졌거든. 새 의원이랑 싱크를 맞추려고 움직이고 있으니까 이해해라. 아무튼 뭔 일인지는 모르겠는데 갑자기 열차에 탄 승객들이 이 사람 저 사람 가리지 않고 막 이상한 괴물로 변해버렸어. 정체도 모르겠고 말도 안 통한다고. 다행히 나랑 저 사람들이 타있던 칸은 괴물이 적게 나타나서 내가 몇 동강을 내버리고 여기 빈 객실로 데리고 나온 거지.
빨간색이 3200 하나, 빨간색이 3200 둘.
99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer. They take one down, pass it around.
이거야 당연한 행동이지. 해결사들이란 선두에 서서 약한 자들을 보호하는 존재들이니.
나는 이미 이 승객들을 사흘 동안 지켜봤어. 그리고 지금껏 한 명도 변하지 않았고. 지금 이 객실칸 너머는 죄다 지옥도가 펼쳐져 있는데 앞쪽으로 끊임없이 넘어오려고 하는 걸 보면 뒤에서부터 뭔 일이 벌어져서 앞으로 번졌다는 게 내 추측이야. 얘기는 여기까지. 그래서 너희는 뭔데? 1등석 부자분들께서 어떤 연유로 이런 서민들이 있는 곳까지 행차야? 여기서 뭔 일이 벌어진다는들 당신들의 고급스런 1등석 칸에는 아무도 들어갈 수 없었을 텐데.
저희는 W4에서 이번 사건을 해결하기 위해 고용한
We're here to solve problems.
해결사!
네, 해결사입니다.
Not as reluctantly as she affirmed Don Quixote's boisterous affirmation.
전부 1등석에? 그쪽 사무소는 돈이 썩어나나 보구만. 아니지, 잠깐. 그럼 W사는 처음부터 이렇게 될 걸 알고 있었다는 건가? 근데 진짜 날개의 의뢰를 받은 거 맞아? 믿음이 안 가는데.
이미 잘 아시겠지만 해결사들 간의 가장 중요한 건 계약과 그 이행이죠. 그리고 W사는 다른 날개들 이상으로 보안을 중시하고 있고요.
비밀 유지 서약을 했나 보군. 뭐 웨어피 옆에 계열이랑 얽히면 골치 아프니까. 그래서 증거는 없다.
W사에서 사전에 받은 마스터 카드 키입니다. 어지간한 문은 열 수 있죠.
Alice produced a master key card from her pocket, and I guess there isn't any other way for us to prove that we're actually contracted by W Corp.
카드 키? 이걸로 잠겨있던 1등석 통로를 열고 W사 로고에 꽤 고급 재질. 진짜 의뢰를 받았나 봐. 좋아, 따져 묻진 않을게. 돈도 안 되는 일에 연루되고 싶은 마음도 없고. 일을 해결하려면 뒤로 가겠다는 거네.
그렇죠.
Vixer finally got out of our way, then, with one of her free hands, pointed toward the opposite door.
죽으러 가겠다는데 말릴 필요도 없지. 아니면 뭐 실력이 대단하면 다 구해서 돌아올 수도 있겠지만.
경력 고맙네, 해결사 사샤요. 이것은 자네에게 맡길 테니 부디 본인을 대신해서 이들을 무사히 지켜내시게.
저기 이 뒤에 있는 괴물들을 처리해주러 가시는 건가요?
No! Just as we were about to reach the other end of the car, a little passenger pulled on Don Quixote's coattails.
그렇단다.
우와, 그럼 언니는 유명한 해결사예요?
그렇지. 본인은 명망 높은 해결사 라네.
우와, 저도 언니처럼 해결사.
예, 너무 치근덕대면. 아유, 죄송합니다. 저희 애가.
And they couldn't afford a model for me.
괜찮네. 놔둬도 되는데.
We sold it for the economy class tickets.
당신 같은 자가 열차에 탑승하고 있어서 다행이긴 하군요. 저런 어린아이도 구할 수 있었으니.
무슨 말이야? 다들 왜 이래? 같은 바닥 처지끼리. 당연히 머릿수대로 긴급 보호비를 거두려는 거지. 왜 자꾸 둘 다 똥짠지 같은 소리야?
Yeah, we're on justice.
그렇군요.
I don't think Don Quixote needs to hear what she just said.
파우스트 씨, 다시 봤어요.
무엇을 말씀이시죠?
일부러 그런 거였죠? 저자가 순수한 마음으로 승객들을 보호할 마음은 없었다는 거 알면서도 돈키호테 씨에게 동조해 준 거예요. 또다시 시끄러워지면 골치 아프겠다 싶었는데 다행이에요. 보셨어요? 눈이 얼마나 반짝거리던지. 평소에도 그랬지만 오늘따라 의욕이 완전히 넘쳐흐르고 있다니까요, 돈키호테 씨.
I strode towards Sasha with a question. Hey!
마지막으로 하나 궁금한 것이 있습니다.
질문 하나당 30만 원.
같은 바닥 처지끼리. 그런 판단은 유감이군요. 저희 쪽 의뢰가 성공하고 나면 추후에 W사에 적극적인 협력 사무소가 있었다고 제보해 드릴 수도 있을 텐데요.
뭐야? 진짜? 무슨 질문인데?
혹시 상대하셨던 괴물들의 눈빛이 모두 붉지는 않던가요?
Sasha paused her swinging arms for a moment upon hearing that question, appearing to be either in thought or trying to recall something, then answered.
글쎄, 온통 붉은색인 괴물이긴 했는데 은색이 중요한가? 일단 내 의안도 빨간색이고 저 승객도 눈이 적색이었고 거기 너희 쪽에 칼 메고 있는 녀석도 눈이 빨갛잖아? 뭐 이런 게 돈 되는 중요한 정보라도 되나?
아니요. 뭐 별것 아니었습니다.
House nodded lightly in her direction, then opened the door to the next car. Oh no, not more vampires! It was just as we had feared. The scene before us, the scene that appeared before us looks like it came straight out of a painting of hell. A hell screen, if you would.
파우스트가 나설 만한 곳이어야 할 겁니다.
뛰어난 병사라도 적재적소에 쓰지 않으면 무위무능한 법. 우선 전황부터 살피지.
Alright, well, first things first. Yeah, let's just go this way.
나머지는 칼을 휘두를 일 아닌가.
Okay, that should be fine, and then we'll pop a defense. Nah, we should be okay. Sorry. I'm a little cough.
행진했고 이것이 서곡의 피날레다. 왕의 피.
잘 어울려. 보면 아는 것을 상기시키는 연유가 무엇인가?
Another!
저희를 헤아릴 수
Let's see here. The hand I let slip. Let's just go with one of these, and then, yeah, that'll work. A couple of one-sided guards is just fine by me. For a little extra whispers. Yeah, that, and then we get all that delicious, delicious blood feast all on the ground.
적이 술에 취한
Another.
허둥거리니 승기를 세운다면 지금이겠.
I think that'll be fine. Probably. Famous last words. One contempt of the gaze, please. There we go. Consider all of my problems to be solved. You guessed it, it's time for another whispers. Just for me. Oh yeah. And I swear, I rarely get to see that animation ever play out, but that's because everybody just dies.
오랜 목마름도 어버이를 향한 죄책감도 피를 마시는
잘 됐네.
Onward and upward, down and down. Listen, as tempting as it is to play the to use the Oh, does that only need 3? Oh, I guess it's 4 for if Faust is actually on the field, right? Never mind, she managed to punch through there. That's nice. Oh, his animations are so slick. Oh, I love Muscle. He's my favorite. He's my favorite. My number 1 with a bullet. With a capital B bullet.
보면 아는 것을 상기시키는 이유가 무엇일까?
이번엔 이인가?
나도
그대로 꿰었소리라. 마침내 깊은 수면에 빠지시니까.
Alright, you guessed it, it's time for another Mr. Win Rate button. Win Rate button, save me! That's right, it's that time again, dreamers.
마음에 들면 들었다. 솔직히 말해라, 자로요. 용장에게 칭찬이야.
Save a mother from any alien attack. Vicious giant insects who will once again come back. We'll unleash all their forces. We will cut them any slack. The EDF deploys. Yesterdays were our families. Today we may not make it facing these atrocities. But we will leave the field despite our casualties. The EDF deploys.
좁은 곳에서 전투하는 건 제법 지치는 것 같아요.
어쩔 수 없어요. 저희같이 긴 무기를 쓰는 사람들은 좁은 곳에서 금방 지치기 마련이니까요.
Yep. These enemies weren't much harder than the ones we'd fought earlier, but it was inevitable that their sheer number would eventually wear the sinners down.
파우스트 씨, 저들 정체는 대체 무엇일까요?
That's a great question. They're vampires.
아까부터 궁금했다고. 왜 안 알려주는 건데?
저것들은
어떤 존재라고 생각하시나요?
네? 그걸 방금 제가 물어보지 않았나요? 아니면 설마 저희에게 먼저 생각해볼 기회를 주시는 건가요?
Yes. Of course, Faust did not confirm nor deny his question, but Sinclair was perfectly capable of making up his own interpretation of her silence.
여러 번 싸워보니까 알 것 같은 건 있었어요. 이 괴물들은 저희에게 화가 나 있거나 방해되는 존재라서 덤벼드는 느낌이 아닌 것 같아요.
맞네. 이들은 굶주리기라도 한 듯 뭔가를 향해 맹렬히 돌진하고 있었네.
맞아요. 이 열차 안에서는 배고픔도 느껴지지 않을 텐데.
공격 패턴이 이성적인 판단에 기반하지 않았다. 그저 본능적인 공격성을 우리를 향해 발산하고 있다고밖에 해석되지 않는군.
그리고 또 뭐가 있었죠?
그리고 또 모든 눈이 붉었던 것 같아요.
신체 대부분에 붓지 않은 곳이 없었어.
냄새는 피 냄새다. 피로 만들었겠지.
그러하다면 피가 굳은 결정화된 느낌이라고 해야 바를 테지.
네, 감사합니다. 모두들 유용한 정보였습니다.
It's my turn to start whispering. How did you learn from that?
이번엔 운이 좋았습니다, 단테.
Come here.
열차에 탑승하기 전에 다음 행선지를 위한 정보를 열람하던 도중 곁다리로 읽어둔 지식이 쓸모있는 열쇠가 되었던 것도 있지만 단테의 조언대로 수감자들 또한 유익한 정보를 추려내는데 큰 도움이 되었습니다.
You mean you know what to do to blow this case wide open?
그렇게 장담할 수는 없습니다만 적어도 시작점으로서는 기능할 테죠.
Maybe. With that, Faust turned and faced the rest of the sinners.
지금부터 이 상황을 타개할 방법을 제시하겠습니다.
응? 그냥 쭉쭉 뚫고 가는 것 말고도 뭐가 있는 거야?
그 자체는 바뀌지 않을 테지만 결과적으로 이번 의뢰의 목적이 무엇인지 그리고 어떻게 W사의 의뢰를 완수할 수 있는지에 대한 가닥을 잡을 수 있을 겁니다. 이번 열차 그리고 지속적으로 워프 열차에서 비슷한 사건을 일으킨 존재는 매우 높은 확률로 혈귀입니다.
오랜 목마름도
Yes, good.
피를 마시는 순간에
And then we move on.
카니발 타임.
You guessed it. Another one. Wait, a blood fiend? You mean a blood fiend? What's a blood fiend?
혈기가 대체 무엇인가?
어? 네가 모를 줄은 몰랐는데 이런 신기한 거 관련이라면 뭐든지 알고 있는 줄 알았어.
듣도 보도 못했다만
Hmm.
무슨 기사라도 있던 것인가?
Don Quixote furrowed her brows, genuinely lost. It was as though the very word sounded alien to her.
저도 현실에 존재하는 줄은 몰랐어요. 그저 무서운 이야기로 만들어졌다고 생각했는데 마늘이랑 햇빛을 두려워한다고 하던가요?
아, 제가 들은 이야기랑은 좀 다르네요. 제가 듣기로는 햇빛이나 마늘은 뜬 소문이고 오히려 물을 무서워한다던데요?
혈귀에 대한 보고는 나도 받아본 적 있다. 지휘관이던 시절에 말이지. 그들이 부린다는 부산물 도 본 적이 있다. 기억이 흐릿하지만 이런 형태는 분명 아니었을 텐데.
손가락에도 혈기라는 놈이 있었지. 저런 고무장갑 같은 것들을 부리진 않았지만 하지만 좀 걸리는군. 그놈은 이렇게 마구잡이로 찌꺼기를 늘리진 않았다. 내 놈도 알고 있지 않나?
네, 수감자 내에도 경험한 분들이 있었군요. 설명이 길지 않아도 되겠습니다. 말씀하시는 대로 저희가 마주한 적들은 혈귀 그 자체는 아니라고 보여집니다. 혈귀의 권속이 되지 못한 찌꺼기 같은 존재. 관계자 사이에선 피주머니라고 부른다는 정보가 있었습니다.
그럴듯한 이름이지.
Why would anyone name someone Bloodbag?
처음에 이야기했던 대로 통상적인 방법으론 워프 열차 내에서 승객이 사라질 수 없습니다. 워프 열차나 W사에 대한 모든 것을 알 수는 없어도 저희가 갖고 있는 정보가 꽤 많음에도 예외를 찾아낼 수 없었죠. 거기서 저는 아직 저희가 한 번도 마주하지 않았던 존재를 논리 안에 끼워 넣었을 때 한 가지 추측이 성립된다는 걸 파악했습니다.
그럼 그 혈귀라는 곳은 승객들을 아예 없었던 것으로 만들 수 있다는 이야기인가요?
휘발된다는 쪽에 가까울 것 같군요.
Vaporized.
워프 열차는 승객들끼리 온갖 폭력적인 일을 벌이더라도 본래대로 돌려놓을 수 있습니다. 폭력이라는 것에는 여러 가지가 있겠지만 그중 식인도 분명 존재하겠죠. 하지만 열차 운행간 시간이 유예된 승객들은 소화의 과정 또한 이루어지지 않는 것과 마찬가지일 테니 결국 복구할 수 있는 상태였을 겁니다.
그저 입에 쑤셔 넣었을 뿐이라면 뱃속을 갈라내 그 핏줄 같은 것으로 연결된 조각들을 맞춰볼 수 있었겠지.
Yep.
하지만 피주머니들은 다릅니다. 맹목적으로 피를 찾아다니는 이들은 희생자의 혈액을 흡수함으로써 자신들의 존재를 유지할 수 있고 유지비로 혈액 또한 조금씩 소비한다고 합니다.
방금은 소화는 하지 않는다며?
추론해 보자면 혈귀와 피주머니에게 혈액은 단순히 에너지를 얻기 위한 식사의 과정과는 다른 것 같습니다. 그들에게 혈액이란 감정, 성취, 돈, 존재의 자신들을 유지하기 위한 많은 것들이 포함되어 있는 무언가. 그렇기에 마음 먹는다면 혈액을 소비할 수 있고 소화 따위의 과정과는 별개로 이루어질 것입니다.
무슨 소리인지 절반도 못 알아들었거든?
Heathcliff, we're right here with you.
유예되었음에도 히스클리프 군은 화를 내거나 슬퍼하거나 또는 기뻐할 수 있지 않은가?
그야 뭐 그렇긴 한데.
그것이 변한 것인지 생멸하는 것인지는 알 수 없으나 지나간 감정은 사라졌다고도 볼 수 있을 터. 승객들의 살아갈 의지와 존재의 가치 또한 멈춘 시간 속에서도 점차 사라지지 않소. 혈귀에게 혈액이란 그러한 것이라고 파우스트 양은 설명한 것이요.
그런가? 그래서 바로 휘발된다 이거구만.
승객의 구성 묘소. 살점들과 이어진 혈액도 사라져서 살점을 끌어모을 수 없을 거고요.
논지에 어긋남은 없군.
Everyone fell silent for a moment. That was way too much information to process at once. We didn't even know what to make of them either.
하고 싶소. 피주머니라 하는 존재는 혈귀가 직접 만드는 것이요? 만약 그렇다면 어떠한 방식으로?
거기까지는 정보의 접근이 제한되었군요.
Fast replies, avoiding Isang's gaze. There isn't anything I can do about this. The sinners will only get more stressed if they find out what's going on with Faust, and that's something we both want to avoid.
제한. 그렇군. 과거 그대가 말했던
추측이지만 피주머니로 만들기 위해서는 어떤 식으로든 접촉이 필요할 것으로 보입니다. 그렇지 않다면 가장 성가신 존재인 저희가 멀쩡한 것이 말이 되지 않을 테니까요.
일리 있어.
그렇다면 그 잔악한 혈기란 놈은 이 열차 어딘가에 숨어 있다는 말이겠군.
Those vampires.
조금 전에 보았던 해결사의 말을 신뢰한다면 이 피주머니들이 몰려온 건 열차의 뒷칸부터, 즉 나아가다 보면 반드시 그 혈귀를 마주하게 될 것입니다.
좋네. 무고한 승객들의 원한을 대신 풀어줄 기회. 본인은 절대 놓치지 않겠네.
단테.
It seemed that Don Quixote was now invigorated, while the other sinners also appeared rather satisfied now that we had a clearer sight of our goal. Faust, who stood amidst them, nodded in my direction. Well then, let's go. Making the best of what's available to us at the moment. Let's move forward. For now. Man, these guys got got.
주분께서 너희에게 거는 기대가 크더군. 최선을 다해라.
주군께서는 사소한 실수로 책잡지 아니하시니 너무 긴장하지 말고 임하게.
꿰뚫려라.
So does Maso count as a third kindred, or? You know what, hold on, I might need to double check that with his character card. Once I get a second. Alright, let me see here. Now, what was I looking at? Oh yeah, he is a third kindred. Huh. Oh, okay. Works for me. Ugh. Yeah, I might have to. Might have to, what's the word? I'd have to call it after this fight, because I'm a little tired. We'll just let win rate button. Yes, true. Because it is a bit late. I didn't get back until. Oh yeah! Oh look at that one! Oh look at that go! Yeah, no, it seems like Mr. Salt. He's got it. He's got that juice. Alright, let's just give these guys everything we got. Ding dong, dang. Ba-da. There goes Okay, well, that guy's still standing for now. And that's the end of that. Da, da, da. Alright. More plot? Yeah, there's plot. Plot. Alright. Well, I think I'm gonna retire for the evening. Better grab these. I should probably go and do my... I'll do those tomorrow. Or maybe I won't. I don't know yet. Ooh. Should check and see how my company is looking. But I've got all my Walpurgis knocked so neatly. I mean, I guess they had the second one. But I want to keep it like that. You know what? We can swap out Gregor. I'm sure that other people have Priest Gregor. Skip Mr. Salt with the Prince of La Mancha Land, and I'd say probably Regret and Pursuance. And of course, Yearning Merkala. I mean, look at him. Oh, he looks so... Oh. But then he looks so much better. Yes. Definitely one that I prefer his big up tie. Over the, what's the word? Post up tie over the pre up tie. Because, you know, it's like, oh, my poor boy. Why you gotta look like that? Why they gotta do that to my poor lad? But of course, as always, there's the friend code, if you would so like. I think I still have plenty of space for compatriots. Yeah, so that's about that. At least for tonight. I'll probably be back to finish the Bokgak at least, because, you know, there's only tomorrow and then Wednesday, but I don't do things on Wednesday. Oop, that was a glass. Alright. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you tomorrow. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Oh, one of these. Whatever. Winkins for... Yeah. And goodbye, you two.